Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Hope you're having a great day. I'm not sure if you saw the news coming out of Quebec. They are drafting a constitution. I'm not sure what that is, but probably more Quebec nationalism to move and have their own constitution. But the First Nations communities there are pushing back on that. 30 chiefs from different communities have come out and put a position against the draft. They are, of course, not feeling heard and or included. So these 30 chiefs represent 43 different communities and 10 different nations. The province says, of course, that it is listening. So whatever listening from any provincial government or colonial government at all means, who knows? The government states that in the preamble of its constitution that it does recognize the rights of First Nations in the province. However, Lucian from the Anishinaabe goes on to say that these words of recognition are not actually in the Constitution. It is just part of the preamble. And that the Quebec government doesn't actually really understand or recognize First Nations treaty rights, regardless of what they say. Now, for those of you familiar with the goings on in Quebec over history, if you're a little bit older like me, you understand that the nationalists in Quebec largely see and have used the verbiage that, in fact, Quebecers are the indigenous people of the province. They view themselves much like Métis people as a unique blending of francophones that are like none other in the world and thus are indigenous to Quebec. And so they have historically used this idea of francophone nationality and nationalism to push their agenda while suppressing First Nations communities and Indigenous people alike, because that would erode your own unique identity. So, again, it'll be an interesting conversation in Quebec. Quebec is particularly hostile, from my experience, towards First Nations communities and Métis people alike. So, I don't suspect this will go very far, but it did make the news. And as always, the issues in Quebec always have me scratching my head. Unlike other provinces, which I mean aren't great, they seem particularly hostile because of their position of uniqueness as colonialists in the Canadian context. So there you have it. That's what I had for you. Hope you're having a great day. As always, hit the like and subscribe. It always helps us beat the crazy algorithms. And we are on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. And if you enjoy the show, please consider our Buy a Coffee program. It definitely continues to help support the channel and pay for better equipment and upgrade things as we go. So until next time, the jig is up. The Jig is Up is made possible in part by the Métis Federation of Canada, uniting Métis people from coast to coast to coast.